in Singapore to get to see what I'm not supposed to tell you yet. Give us 5 minutes and you will know. And this time it's really special because for the first time in 14 years of being in this business, we have 2 product guys from Sonos with us. So whatever you have always wanted to ask, you can ask them, okay? I'm not sure how much they're gonna tell you, but about the product today, they're gonna tell you everything about the product today. And we've heard them in the first session. They're so convicted and so knowledgeable because they were involved in a large part of the whole process. So you're gonna have a lot of fun with them. Of course, their names are Dane and Scott. So Dane is from the product marketing team, and Scott is from the product development team. And yeah, you'll have fun later. Don't let them go. Just ask them questions until tomorrow morning. Just a few things that I want to point out. We have a few photo spots in our store. So I don't know whether the photo spots give you any clue of what kind of product we're gonna launch, but it's going to be a great place to take photos. I do need to remind you that there is an embargo. If you want your news report to be taken as a news report, please follow the embargo. Otherwise, it's called a leak. And this embargo is going to end on the 21st of May at 9 p.m. Okay, 21st of May, 9 p.m. Actually, almost exactly 1 week's time. So you don't have to wait that long to post all the interesting stuff that you're going to hear today. And then for the questions, today's demo is going to be a little bit more personalized, a little bit more catered to you. It's not going to be a big group demo due to the nature of whatever we're going to launch today. So we actually have a QR code that you can use to submit your questions. Now, your nice hosts, your friendly hosts, they have the same QR code. So if you cannot capture this, you can just ask them or say, hey, I have a question that I want to ask them, and then they can help you to submit those questions. Now, that's all that I have to say here today. I'd like to welcome Dane, who is from the product marketing team. And yeah, Dane, take it away. You're going to sing and dance and... Totally. Yes, that's what I thought. Let's give him a big hand, please.
Hi, I'm Dane. Thank you so much for that nice intro. This is my first time in Singapore. It's a beautiful city. I wish I could stay longer. I'm really honored to be here. I'm representing a large group of hundreds of people that have worked for a couple years on creating the product that I'm going to talk to you about. So I'm just one small little piece, but I'm very happy to be here and represent all of the hard work that's gone into this. Going back to 2002, Sonos was founded with the mission to deliver on the possibility of wireless audio in every room of the home. Sounds easy, right? Now we're used to it. But back in 2002, we were coming from a world where you had big stereo systems in one room of the home. You had to go into a room that had a receiver and wires, and you had to go into that room to listen to music. And Sonos had a vision to actually complement the way that you listen to music and audio out loud. And so basically they gave people access to all of the millions of songs on the internet out loud in any room of the home. Fast forward to today, and I believe that audio and sound is more important than ever. And we've seen an explosion in the amount of content and also the listening hours. Music and sound and audio is pervasive in everything we do. You might listen to an audiobook on the way to work, podcasts, playlists for every activity and every mood in life, whether it's raining or you're cooking dinner or you're going to the gym. It's music and sound is really, really important. And I humbly believe that Sonos has been a leader in sound innovation. Our combination of premium design, easy, intuitive to use. I keep looking at you because I know you probably know more about Sonos than me. It's really this unique Sonos experience. And of course it has to sound incredible. And so we started with the simple mission of filling homes with music. We expanded into immersive home audio. And Scott back there has been the product manager on all of our home theater products, so definitely give him the hard questions. And then most recently, we've had the ability to take the Sonos experience outside to your patio, your backyard, the pool, and even put it in your backpack and take it everywhere you go. But there's been one product category, there's been one place that people have wanted to see the Sonos experience. I've been at Sonos for 8 years, and I can't even count how many times people have asked for the product that we're going to show you today. So we've been asked for it. We heard the feedback. About ready to unveil it. I will say that this is really the culmination of listening to people's requests. This is years of meticulous fine-tuning and really attention to detail of every aspect of design, because we wanted to make sure that any product we put out, especially this one, meets the high bar for Sonos. So with that, it is my pleasure and it is my honor to introduce you to something completely new for Sonos, and I'll let you watch the video.
For years, Sonos has defined the ultimate out-loud listening experience. Now, it's personal. Introducing SONOS ACE. Obsessively crafted and masterfully tuned, these headphones surround you in the highest fidelity sound. With exceptional clarity and powerful bass, every note feels more profound. Spatial audio with dynamic head tracking deepens your listening experience, precisely placing sounds left, right, above, and all around. Active Noise Cancellation blocks external sounds for maximum immersion. When you need to hear what's going on around you, switch to aware mode. Use the content key to adjust volume, control playback, and take calls. Hey, what's up? At home, send TV audio to SONOS ACE for a private surround sound experience. With up to 30 hours of battery life, uncompromising comfort, and seamless connectivity to all your devices, this is personal listening. Perfected.
Yay!
What did you think? Is that what you expected? Good?
Yes.
Okay. After years of waiting, I'm really excited to talk to you about SONOS ACE. This is our first premium Bluetooth over-the-ear headphones. And we'll give you all opportunity to get hands-on and check these out, and most importantly, listen to them. But first you'll notice the design. Premium, sophisticated design. You can see we used a combination of a nice matte finish, brushed metal accents, soft materials. We want to make sure that these sound as good as they look and they're comfortable to wear for a long time. This is the first Sonos speaker that people are wearing, and so we put a lot of care and a lot of effort into that. And of course the sound. It has to sound incredible if it's going to be a Sonos product. And so this will support lossless audio. We'll go into details on that. It will support spatial audio. And as you saw in the video, a really unique experience is that if you have a Sonos soundbar, so Sonos Arc to launch, and then pretty soon we'll roll it out on other soundbars. If you're watching content on the soundbar, with the push of a button, you can easily swap that sound into your headphones. So if the kids are going to bed, or your partner or your roommate's going to bed and you still want to watch that movie, you can easily put it in there. So we wanted to make sure that these were incredible Bluetooth headphones and do all the things you would expect, but also have some of those nice Sonos touches to them. On the home theater experience, Scott will go into a lot more detail, ask him all of the hard questions. It's really cool. These will be available on June 5th for 699 Singaporean dollars. I can't wait for you to check these out and listen to them. But before we do that, I want to just go into a couple more details on the features and the design and the process we put into it before you go ahead and dive in. But I'll go ahead and try to get to these details pretty quickly. So when we talk to our designers, they talk about intentional design, and that basically means form follows function. We knew that we needed to make these really incredible, but we wanted them to look and sound like Sonos. We wanted them to be premium, be easy to wear, and they had to sound incredible and have a lot of the latest and greatest technology into it. So we put a lot of care into the design. I'll start by talking a little bit about the materials. The first thing you'll notice is the ear cuffs. This is really comfortable memory foam. It's meant to last on your head and be comfortable for a while. These are low profile, so they feel really good. They give you a nice, they're vegan leather, so they give you a nice soft seal So the ANC, the Active Noise Cancelling, will work really well. But we want to make sure that if you're on an airplane or if you're having a movie marathon, that they're going to sound really, really comfortable. One of the cool things is if you ever need to replace them, you just pop them off, and they attach magnetically. And you can see that these are angled in order to better fit the angle of the ear. And this is just some of the nice touches that we put into these headphones. Premium materials, we want these to be functional. And so we use plastic in areas where you want the Wi-Fi signal to come through, where we want these to be balanced. So where weight's a consideration, we might have used plastic. Where we need structure and strength, we use this polished metal to be able to provide really a sturdy fit and a sturdy pair of headphones. And then one of the details that we're really proud of is we call this the yoke, or typically on a pair of headphones it's a hinge that's external. You can get your hair caught on it, sometimes your earrings. So we really put a lot of effort into hiding that inside. And we also tested this on a lot of heads. We tested this with hundreds of people. So we feel like our belief is this actually will fit about 95% of head sizes of people. And we put a lot of care into the colors and the materials in general. I think we looked at 28 different shades of white and black, different skin tones, different hair color from jet black to hot pink, really to make sure that we got the design details right. And again, this is vegan leather, which is easy to clean and it's more sustainable, and it gives you that nice seal for the noise canceling. So we really took care of the details on this one. Go ahead and go to the next slide. Oh, sorry. I almost skipped a part. We talk about directionality. So what we do is we provide a couple of ways for you to know that you're putting the headphones on correctly. You can see first, ergonomically, your thumbs fit very nicely there. So we put those on your head just like that. We also have different color fabric on the inside, so you know which one's right and left, and it actually has an R and an L on it. And then the Sonos logo is on the right-hand side. So again, it's those little touches to make sure that we're giving you a way to make sure that these are directionally fitting on your head. Okay, so we have two custom-made drivers in here that are going to provide precise, clear sound. Balanced and natural sound, or something that we talk about quite a bit. Scott will talk about how we work with creators and sound engineers to actually play their content and make sure that these are really well tuned. And that also lends itself to what we want to do with noise canceling. We want it to sound really good, so we do have active noise cancellation that we built from the ground up. We built it ourselves, and we feel like it is as good or better as the competition. And so it'll block out ambient noises and make sure that you can really be immersed and disappear in the music or content that you're listening to. But there is going to be situations where you want to let some of that noise in. If you're walking to the bus stop, or you need to talk to people and be a little bit more aware, you push the same button to enable ANC and then turn ANC off, so you can have that what we call aware mode. And of course, it needs to sound great for phone calls. There are 8 microphones that are perfectly placed in this device. 6 of them work for ANC. We're going to bring those microphones to bear to give you really clear audio and voice for calls and video meetings, so you can use these to work, because we want these to be functional. Again, functional as they are beautiful. And the number one thing that we really needed to nail for Sonos is the sound, of course. So it's going to support lossless. If you have a Snapdragon aptX codec, if you're using an Android phone, you'll be able to stream wireless audio. We'll have a 3.5 millimeter to USB-C connector, so you can connect it directly to your device. You can stream spatial audio with Dolby Atmos over Apple Music or Amazon Music, and so sound is really, really a critical aspect of what we're trying to deliver. These will work out of the box like you would expect Bluetooth headphones to work. You can pair them easily to an Android or iOS device, but if you connect it to your app, you'll have access to additional functionality, the home theater, the cinema connections that Scott's going to talk about, EQ. We have a nice head tracking feature that you can turn or off or on in the app. So again, this is an area where we wanted to provide some Sonos systemness, and we feel like that's really unique. battery life, really important. Again, these are the first Sonos product. This is the first Sonos product you can wear, so you want to be able to take it out in the world wherever you want to go. So 30 hours of battery life, even with ANC. And probably my favorite feature of these headphones is that we have a feature called Quick Charge, where if you charge it for 3 minutes, you'll get 3 hours of battery life. So if you're on your way to the airport like me and you forgot to charge your headphones, you can at least watch a movie, you can listen to some music, and give yourself a chance to charge it. So 3 hours off of a 3-minute charge. Another way we're saving the battery life and focusing on sustainability is wear detection. So when you put them on your head, there are sensors that know that it's on your head. When you take them off, if I'm listening to music and put them here, it'll know that they're not on my ears anymore, and it will actually pause the music. But if you simply put them back on, it will start again. And this is just another example of the details that we focused on for this. So I'm almost done talking. When I met Scott 8 years ago, he said to me that speakers are better listened to than talked about, so we're going to give you a chance to hear them. I do want to show you the buttons in terms of how to use these, so you'll need to know how to use these. I'll start with the left ear cup. That's the power button and the Bluetooth pairing button. So hit it to go off and on, and then an extended hold to pair with the Bluetooth. And then if you look over here, this is the content key. We looked at a lot of different ways to do this. We did a lot of user testing. We found that if we were going to use touch controls, that people were getting confused and hitting the wrong button. So we decided to go with a tactile button. So you can push it up, push it down for volume, just like the video said, push it into play, push it into pause, double click in order to skip a song, hit it 3 times to go back a song, and then if you are watching content on a soundbar, you do an extended hold and you'll get to try this. It'll instantly swap it from your TV to the headphones. So I'm done talking. It was really my pleasure to share this with you. Again, this is and I can't wait for you to try it. So Zoe is going to make sure that all of you go to a station with a pair of headphones, and you'll get to listen for yourself and try this yourself, and I'll see some of you again in the home theater room. Thank you for your time.
Amazing home theater experience you can get. ACE actually becomes an extension of your Sonos home theater, making it very, very unique for a headphone product. So shall we talk about that? You guys ready to geek out for a few minutes? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Cool. Now, obviously there's times when you want to watch TV and you can't listen out loud. It's just not feasible, right? Maybe the rest of the house has already gone to sleep, or maybe your partner's on a work call, or it's just getting to that time of night where you want to make sure you don't bother the neighbors. All those are totally legitimate reasons where you're like, geez, how am I going to watch TV? Am I just going to turn down the volume very quietly on my soundbar? Well, that's one option. But that's actually where ACE fits in perfectly. In fact, our vision for ACE was actually to create a personal listening experience that was fully immersive, but without sounding like you're listening to headphones. Right? We actually want it to sound like you're listening to a well-placed, well-tuned 3D audio system right in your living room. That's our goal. But how in the world do we do that? How do we take headphones and make it sound like you're actually listening out loud? Well, let's talk about it. So, step one. There we go. Okay, so at the foundation of the Sonos ACE experience is our spatial audio. And ACE supports spatial audio in the form of Dolby Atmos up to a 7.1.4 mix. Now, if you're watching in Atmos, that's great, but perhaps you're not. Maybe you're just watching in stereo. ACE will upmix that experience to 7.1.4 for you. Now, it's important to know that just like our sound bars, ACE is designed to play everything that you're watching on television. So it's not isolated to a specific streaming service or a particular device that's hooked up to your TV. Anything you're watching on TV, ACE can play, just like our sound bars. So you're watching your favorite TV show, a movie, watching sports, maybe you're playing a video game late at night. ACE is designed to play everything you're watching on TV. Yeah? Now, we've meticulously tuned ACE by actually trying to position sound exactly where the mixer is intended. Now, I know what you're thinking, Scott, how do you know if it's actually actively placing sound objects around you as they're meant to be? Well, that's where we actually do a lot of our tuning process is collaborating with award-winning audio engineers and sound mixers across film, TV, and music. So here's Emily Lazar. She recently won a Grammy for the Best Engineered Album of the Year. It was album Colors by Beck, which sounds amazing. So that's for music, but for TV, we work with people like Annalie Blank, who has won 5 Emmys for her re-recording mixing on Game of Thrones. And then for film, we work with people like Chris Jenkins, who has won 3 Academy Awards for Best Sound, including most recently Mad Max Fury Road, which arguably is still one of the best Dolby Atmos mixes in film. So what we do is we have these creators come to the Sonos lab. For ACE, we have them put it on and just listen to the content that they're obviously hyper familiar with. And they sit next to our audio engineers side by side, and they're listening, and we say, hey, tell us what sounds right. That'll make us feel good. But also, more importantly, tell us what doesn't quite sound right. And so they'll give us feedback on both spectral qualities of the sound experience as well as spatial qualities. And when they tell us something, our engineers on the fly are updating the tuning of ACE to try and fix it. And so we'll do that process over and over and over again until finally the idea is the creator goes, you know what? This now sounds like how I mixed it in my studio. So that's how we tune all of our products, including the spatial audio component, to Sonos ACE. Make sense? All right. Well, we want to take it a step further than just spatial audio. So ACE includes dynamic head tracking. If you're not familiar with head tracking, it's the idea that when you're watching something, in this case television, instead of the sound following you as you may shift around or turn your head, instead the audio is anchored in 3D space and stays there regardless of how you move your head. Yeah? And the way we do that is using what we call an inertial measurement sensor. And this can detect movements, both really subtle movements as well as really large movements, in how you're moving your head and shifting the direction or you're facing over time as you're watching television. And the net result is to create something that sounds even more realistic than the standard spatial audio rendering. Yeah. Now let me show you kind of how this works behind the scene, because this is one aspect that really puts ACE apart from other headphones. So ACE constantly has a connection to a Sonos soundbar, in this case an ARC, and it's sending its head motion data to the soundbar continuously. Meanwhile, the soundbar is receiving the audio signal from the television, and then it's layering in that motion data to create a personalized spatial audio rendering that's then sent back to ACE. All right, and again, the idea is to create something that is even more realistic and helps sort of externalize the audio elements outside of your head. So that's spatial audio and head tracking. I'd like to give you a preview of another feature that we're working on that will roll out in coming months. And we call it True Cinema. You know, when you walk into a room, you actually subconsciously have an idea of how a room is supposed to sound, right? If you were to just walk into a bathroom, you kind of know that it's going to be a little more live, it'll have a little more reverb than when you walk into a living room that has maybe carpet and drapes. And that's going to obviously be a less live, more dampened sound. And your brain subconsciously knows that. The other way to say that is your brain has an expectation of what that should sound like. But here's the thing, when you put on a typical set of headphones, now that all that context has gone away and the headphones don't sound anything like the room you're in. So you end up with this gap or this mismatch between how your brain expects it to sound and how it actually sounds on those regular pair of headphones. And that's what True Cinema aims to do, is reduce or completely eliminate that gap between what your brain expects to hear and what it actually hears in the headphone. So how does that work? Well, it's very similar to our TruePlay technology, if you're familiar with that. In that instance, the speakers are basically understanding the room and then adjusting their EQ and their timing to correct for the room. Similar here in that this is just a one-time setup, takes about a minute. You put on Sonos ACE on your head, And then the soundbar will emit custom tones throughout the room. The microphones that are then that are on Sonos Ace are then taking measurements, right? They're looking at decay patterns and reverberation timings throughout the room to understand how the room is coloring the sound, yeah? And what ends up happening is we can then layer back in those room acoustics into the spatial audio rendering, such that you get a much more natural sounding spatial 3D audio, so that that gap no longer exists, and what your brain expects and what you actually hear is whole. What that ends up happening is, instead of sounds feeling like they're coming from inside your head, it helps externalize the sounds, because now it's more congruent with what your brain thinks it should sound like. That makes sense? Yeah? All right. So, talked about spatial audio, dynamic head tracking, and true cinema. The new Sonos app, you can control all of those, turn them on and off individually, makes it super simple. But as you might have heard Dane mention up front, what really makes this special, I've talked about all this technical wizardry for the past 5 minutes about how we make it sound immersive. But honestly, none of that matters if people can't quickly use it. And so we've designed it so it's seamlessly and quickly, you're able to get from an out loud listening experience to a personal listening experience with Sonos Ace. And you do that where you don't have to pick up a remote, go through any TV menu settings. You just pick up Sonos Ace and you press the content key, and then the transition goes from out loud listening on your Sonos soundbar into Sonos Ace. And it works in the reverse as well. So if you're watching TV and you've got Ace on, you can just press the content key when someone walks in the room and they want to hear it, press that content key. Now you'll swap back to an out loud listening experience on the Sonos soundbar. Again, you don't have to pick up the TV remote, you don't have to open up an app, it just works seamlessly as you'd expect from Sonos, all right? So that's an overview of the Sonos home theater experience on Ace. Do you guys want to hear it and experience it yourself?
Yes, of course.
No? Okay, well we're done. No, yeah, okay. Let's do some demos. So what we have is we have 2 home theater spaces set up, and one at a time for each space. You can come in and you'll have your hosts walk you in at the right time, and you'll be able to experience this swapping out loud to personal listening, the spatial audio, as well as the head tracking. Sound good?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, we'll do it.
Let's go.
As you heard me talk about, Ace becomes a great extension to Sonos Home Theater and a Sonos soundbar like Arc here. So what we're going to do in just a minute, Ruben here is going to put on a clip from Barbie, and you're going to be able to put on the headphones. Barbie's going to start out loud on Arc, and then if you don't mind, go ahead and pick up the headphones now.
Ready.
But don't put them on quite yet. I just want to point out when they're on your head, what I want you to do is press in the content key for 3 seconds, and that's what's going to swap the audio from Arc into Ace.
Okay.
Now, don't press this one, or you can press it, but it just won't swap the audio. That'll turn active noise cancellation on and off. Yeah? All right, let's
So
get...
now you are playing on the soundbar.
Yep.
Yeah, so go ahead and hold in that content key when you want to swap it.
I don't give a flying squirrel who you are. What are you? Like an intern? No, I'm
So I will revert back the same way, right?
Yeah, revert back the same way.
It's really bad. What?
Wow.
This happened before.
There's no delay
About 10 years ago, a woman named Skipper turned up at some family's home in Key West and asked to babysit the kids.
And if you
She
are
then tried to
not
take her toddler
paying
surfing.
attention, you won't
They were
know
able to
which
straighten
is
it out,
like
keep it
you
up
are
to
hearing this way when with this on,
Yes.
the volume and it's just nice.
It's very similar, yeah?
Yes.
Trying to create that out loud experience
Correct.
inside the headphones.
Correct. It's like straight away transport and you don't disturb the rest.
Yes.
Normally this way I would think that there's probably a little bit of delay, a bit of lowering of volume, then you will feel that. But this is Very well. Yeah.
Seamless.
Yes, seamless. Yes.
Cool. Just before we leave this clip, go ahead and put it on one more time and
Okay.
swap the audio back in.
Okay.
And then we're going to turn head tracking on and off.
Head tracking.
And,
okay.
and spatial audio on and off.
Okay. Oh. Okay.
This is Dune.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're in there? So whenever you want, you can turn head tracking on or off or spatial audio on or off.
So when I do head tracking, what do? I press it.
Yep. So now it's off. And so when you turn your head left and right, the sound is going to stay with you at your head. But now when you turn it on and now move your head, the sound will stay there at the TV. But more dramatically is when you turn spatial audio on and off. You'll notice that it collapses. All the sound kind of collapses, so the music and the sound effects all become one. But when we turn spatial audio back on, it starts to separate out those elements again.
So for head tracking, actually, what's the feature again? You will track your head when you're listening. Or?
Yeah, that's right. So it basically knows where the television is, and then whenever you shift your head from side to side, or you may shift in your seat, it knows that position, so it can anchor the sound there, even though you may be looking over there.
Okay, I see.
And so that actually kind of tricks your brain or influences your brain into thinking that you're listening to something out loud instead of something like headphones on your ears.
I see. Okay. So if you are moving about, it sort of adjusts it.
Yes.
So that your brain will not be having all this shift. It will be like
it feels like it's coming right, like it's centered here.
From here. Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And the other one, the spacious is
Yeah, the spatial audio is what's allowing us to place the audio elements outside of your head.
outside. Okay.
So if it's just stereo, it kind of feels like it's trapped in
It's
your head.
both here. Right?
But when it's spatial, now we can create it all around you.
Okay.
Yeah.
You mentioned something about collapsing it. What you mean is like instead of coming out from both ear, is out,
Yeah, it's just when we have spatial audio engaged, all those elements that are separated, we can actually separate them as part of the rendering of the headphone.
Okay.
But when it's just stereo, everything kind of like gets on top of one another, and it's hard to differentiate and
Because
make it
it's
as distinctive.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's just left and right
Very
and very
small.
very small.
Okay.
Very small.
I
Yeah.
see.
So that was a first look at the home theater capabilities of SONOS ACE.
Good.
Cool?
Cool.
Great.
Thank you.